The University of Southern Queensland leads the Southern Queensland and Northern New South Wales National Drought Resilience Adoption and Innovation Hub. These national hubs are a flagship of the Australian Government's multi-billion-dollar Future Drought Fund. Now, this region in Australia has some of the highest levels of year-to-year climate variability and rainfall variability on Earth. We swing from extreme drought to extreme floods and then back again to extreme drought, and we always get caught out. We have the knowledge in climate and drought science from the University of Southern Queensland and from around the world, and we can use that information to fit into our regional management decisions regarding drought and drought preparedness in Southern Queensland and Northern New South Wales. We have a regional focus, but with world-renowned expertise in drought and resilience, and we connect with the world's leading drought preparedness centres and research centres throughout the globe. We can't just sit behind our desks and do good work. We have to get out and start talking to our regional communities, to agricultural industries, to our First Nations groups. We have to actually connect our long history of research and development with decisions that are made in the real world.
We're standing on the banks of the Balonne River, and appearances can be deceiving. It's lovely and green here. We've got water, as you can see. However, if we didn't have a dam just up the road and a weir down here, that'd be dry. So the drought for us has been and continues to be very pervasive and impacting on a lot of areas of our community. There's some 65% probably of our shire that hasn't received any or very little rain, and in some areas they're still hand feeding. So whilst in some parts it's great, in other parts it's still very, very much 100% drought and still impacting very heavily on their way of life. So anything that we can do through the hub and through the council and through the government to help our communities become better prepared and more sustainable, then it can only be a good thing.
Balonne Shire is a wonderful collection of 7 communities, and they're all interconnected and related. We have a wonderful collection of resilient people in the Shire that are mostly farmers, primary producers, contracting businesses, and then people in town that support the agricultural sector. It's been a really interesting 8 years in the Shire. We've been drought declared. People have been very challenged, I think, through part of it, particularly through the 2019 period when the drought was extremely tough, when most of the district had less than 100 mils of rainfall. So the opportunity for the Drought Hub to come forward and to work with farmers and primary producers to be more resilient and adaptive in new technology is always great. I think farmers can always appreciate being supported and learning from each other.
The Southern Queensland Northern New South Wales Adoption and Innovation Hub will help our regions become more prepared for and resilient to the impacts of drought. Our hub will operate in a region from Longreach in Queensland in the north to Dubbo in New South Wales in the south, and from the east coast to the South Australian and Northern Territory borders. This covers an area of 1.7 million square kilometres. Our nodes will be located in Longreach, Roma and Stanthorpe in Queensland, and Lismore, Armidale and Narrabri in New South Wales, where our people will be working with farmers to understand their needs and drive future research.
Because we are so heavily focused and dependent on agriculture, the more successful our agricultural businesses are, those benefits then flow on to the broader community. And once we start seeing that, then that means our townships and our small businesses, supermarkets, hotels, restaurants, etc., all get to survive. Whereas if we can't become sustainable in the agricultural sector, then sadly the communities will die. The Federal Minister, Mr Littleproud, knows intimately these areas. He used to actually live in St George many years ago, so he understands the bush. And we think that if Mr Littleproud is behind this, he's got the best intentions and he will make sure it works for all communities, and we look forward to working with the hub to deliver for our community on the ground.
The hub will give our farmers and communities the tools and skills to address the changing climate and to continue to produce the world's best food and fibre. We will work with and support our networks of right holders, stakeholders, including First Nations peoples, primary producers, growing community groups and industries, to be more profitable, productive, adaptable and resilient to drought. The University of Southern Queensland is well known globally for our leadership in drought and resilience, and this initiative is building on that expertise.
people can always adapt and move forward. So I think we need to be constantly learning. Droughts are part of the Australian landscape, and every drought teaches us lessons that we can learn to prepare and do better for the next drought that's coming. So I agree, there's no better time than now to plan for what's ahead of us.